Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome back to episode 2 of the King-Sized Conversations. Now, today we are really excited because we get to welcome AnthonyCaliber to the show. He's a professional full-time speedrunner, also known as Anthony Calabrese. So great to have him on the show. We're so excited. He holds multiple world records in video games, including The Last of Us and Left Behind. So, with all that being said, Anthony, thanks so much for joining today. Cheers.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, awesome, man. So let's get right into it with some little warm-up questions. Okay, so these are going to come thick and fast, yeah? So what's the scariest thing, Anthony, you've ever done for fun?
Scariest thing I've ever done for fun. Oh, God, I don't really do anything. Oh, God, I know this is supposed to be quick answers, but...
Yeah, take your time.
Scariest thing I've ever done for fun. Probably tried a roller coaster that I was afraid of at some point.
You tried
one of those things that just like skyrockets up straight up.
You tried, you tried it. You didn't because with me and roller coasters when I was young, I was terrified of them, absolutely terrified. And then as soon as I broke the fear, loved it.
Yeah.
What was the name of the roller coaster? Was it near your hometown?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Not scared anymore, but
oh, good. For me, straight away. You said it was quite funny. You said it took a while. For me, it would be skydiving. Definitely the scariest thing ever.
Wow. Yeah, my brother did that, and he has a video of it as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that looks. Yeah, no thanks.
and I did that in China, right? So I remember I wrote into a radio show that I follow in the UK, and they were like, "Oh, what's going on for your birthday?" And that was it, because I asked them to give me a birthday shout out, and I said, "Going skydiving in China," and they were like, "Well, I hope it's not fake. I hope the parachute's not fake."
Yeah, anything fake about skydiving, that's a red flag.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, you could say. Okay, all right, mate. So second one, what would you remove from your daily routine to make it easier?
Probably the gym. Okay. It's very easy to not go.
Very much so. I would agree with that. Yeah. Do you go every day?
I find if I go like 5 or 6 days a week, I end up not going on the one day I don't feel like it. So I cut it down to 4 days a week, and I've been maintaining that.
4 days. Nice one, man. Nice one. All right. And last one, if you could time travel, Mr. Caliber, what would you change and why?
What would I change?
Mm-hmm.
Time travel and change. Just in the course of history, or like in our own personal lives?
How about both? We got time.
Oh, if I could time travel and change something. Oh, I don't think I would have gone to college.
Okay.
Now that I can think about it, I wouldn't have gone to college. I amassed $32,000 of student loan debt, and I didn't even graduate.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, no, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Oh, God. So you'd go back. Yeah. So you'd go back to your younger self and just say, don't go to college. Just be a streamer. Be a speedrunner.
Yeah. Wait for this game that's coming out. It wasn't even out yet when I decided to go.
Then everything changed, right? So yeah. So that's for yourself. Then how about history-wise?
History-wise.
Yeah.
If I could go back and change history, I would tell the New York Yankees that the Houston Astros are cheating.
Controversial. I like it.
I'm a diehard baseball fan, and we're still salty about 2017. That makes no sense if you're not a baseball fan. But
I have friends. I have friends in the UK. I was speaking to a wrestler on my wrestling podcast actually recently, and he said he's also a big baseball fan, which I didn't know. You know, me and him have been friends for 10 years, and he was like, "I love baseball." I'm like, "Really?" I didn't even know. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me. Not me personally. It's all about soccer. Yeah, it's all about soccer in the UK. Sorry,
yeah,
football.
yeah. Mm.
All right, Anthony. So let's get into it, shall we?
All right.
Yeah, what have you been concentrating on in the speedrunning community since 2022 began?
Since 2022 began, I was finishing up grinding the single player DLC to the first Last of Us game called Left Behind.
Mm-hmm.
When the year started, I was doing that, and viewership wise, it wasn't doing great, but it was something that I personally just wanted to do. I got records. I took some records back, and I got times in some of the categories that I never thought was possible. And the mindset with that is, you know, I could get a time I'm like moderately pleased with and then return to it, or I could just keep with it a little while longer and get times that I will never have a desire to beat. And when a speed run is shorter, the desire is even further there.
Right.
So that's what I did. I put up times that even today, it's been like 2 or 3 months since I've done it. I'm so proud of the times that I got. And I don't think you'll find many speedrunners who are satisfied with the times they get, but I was and
Nice.
I am.
Nice.
I have no desire to go back. And yeah, after that, we switched to Last of Us 2 because I spent all of 2021 speedrunning part 1, pretty much doing the same thing, cutting time and trying to get the best times I can. And then, yeah, over the last month and a half, we've switched to strictly part 2, and that's what I've been doing.
Nice. So, can you describe the feeling, yeah, when you finally, like you say, when you're finally satisfied with the game? Can you describe the feeling when you can just sit back and just play it for fun? You know, like the majority of people do.
Yeah, we're built a little different. When you get a time that you're happy with, it's like winning a championship in whatever sport that you love most. You know, it has that very similar feeling. It's like all that time and energy and effort that I put in and how much time has passed since I started it. Oh, it's just the best feeling ever. And the thing I love about it the most is your body physically reacts. You know, like what's going on, you know how good of a pace you're on. And that's the thing that you never really think about when you set a goal. Like when I was finished with that Left Behind run, my hand was like, right. I couldn't keep it still. And I was playing like that. But yeah, it's that feeling of accomplishment. And people want that feeling in whatever they do, whether it's their work or in a hobby. Speedrunning, it allows you to get that feeling with something that you're good at. And it doesn't matter what it is. It just feels good.
That's how I felt, you know, when you did the handshake there, that's how I felt. Not with a speed run, right? No way. That's just how I felt at the end of Elden Ring when I finally beat the Elden Beast. Right? I'm not even going for a fast time, right? I think my total time on that game was some of my favorite games of the year. Like when my total play time was like 86 hours, I believe. But then I see people doing speed runs for Elden Ring, and they're like double the play time so far. You know, they're just playing it for like 200-300 hours. So how would you say you get yourself through the moments? You're trying to get like a new PB, yeah, for a game, and you just keep coming up short. How do you stay motivated?
Yeah, that happens.
At the moment? Yeah.
Well, personally, any Last of Us related goal that I've set, I've achieved. Now, sometimes it doesn't happen, within a week. I have gone, let's go back a year. I was trying to get under 2 hours and 49 minutes in Last of Us 1 on the hardest difficulty. And, from the moment I started until the moment I got it, it took 4 months. And I didn't do anything else. It was just that. Now, I was getting records in between, lowering it by 10 seconds, 7 seconds, 12 seconds. But there was a stretch where I didn't cut time for about a month and a half. And that was
Wow.
rough. But I know, but what kept me going was I would, pick out runs or moments where I was improving. Some days I wouldn't make it past the 30-minute mark. Other days I'd get a full run, but I'd only make 2 mistakes, but those 2 mistakes cost me 2 minutes. I'd look for the positives and just knew if I put in the time, because I have a history of it. If I put in the time, I get to where I want to be. And that's never not happened. So I trusted the process basically and knew that this is a part of it. This is what you signed up for.
Literally, yeah, because you signed up to Twitch and you became a partner, eventually, which is amazing. That's awesome. That's fantastic to see. I know it was a couple of years ago. So you're now celebrating 6 years on Twitch.
Yes, I am. Yep.
Nice. That's fantastic.
Well, hold on. I got partnered in January of 2017, so it's my 5th year. Wait, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so I'm 5 years in the books. I'm on my 6th year. Yeah.
Nice. So you were talking about, these 2 mistakes, that ended up costing you like 2 minutes of time. So in your opinion, how much of a beast, or let's say devil, how much of a devil can RNG be when you're going for a speed run? A PB.
Yeah, it's really bad, especially in Last of Us. I don't know how bad it is compared to other games, but all I know is it's pretty bad in Last of Us 1 and 2. I'd say a little more so in part 1. Because your companions, that's really the worst part of it. The people who are supposed to be your allies, they cost you attempts. Sometimes I can even just remember right now, the one that was giving me trouble towards the end is something that never gave me trouble before. When you're in the museum chapter, right before the Capitol chapter, I run up a stairs and I swing a melee weapon at a runner. He's supposed to be by the door, but because we're sprinting the whole time, he's by the door that we open. And sometimes he just pushes you against the wall. There's no reason for it, whether he does or doesn't. There's nothing I can practice. There's nothing I can do. And if that happens, that's like 40 minutes in, the run's dead. That one was really getting me.
That's soul crushing, It's soul crushing.
I spent hours trying to find a workaround, but nothing was better than just doing the 50-50 strat. It's not 50-50. It works more than it doesn't, but it seemed like it was towards the end, it wasn't working more than it was. And then again, there's the companions in part 1 where, they're supposed to be helping you, but then Naughty Dog programmed them with pretty not good gameplay. They're designed to help you when you're in trouble, but when it comes to them defending themselves, they don't. Like if you get grabbed by a runner or pushed against a wall or something, they magnetize towards you to get them off. They're good in that regard. But then when it comes to not that, the only value they have is having an enemy come after them. They won't do anything to that enemy, but it's one less coming after you. That's their value.
I wonder if I have seen, there's been some games that have come out recently, like this year, you've got the Five Nights at Freddy's, right? Five Nights at Freddy's, and people were finishing that game in, God knows, what was it, like 8 minutes? I think people would finish that game.
Yeah.
Something ridiculous. And then I remember the developers putting a tweet out for the update saying, enjoy your fun while you can, because now we're going to nerf it all. But then people were still finding new ways. So is it the same with Naughty Dog when they were putting the patches out for the Uncharted games and stuff? Like, even though certain strategies may have been nerfed, you can still find new ways, right?
Oh yeah, there's nothing speedrunners can't find. However,
I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah. Honestly.
If they do patch something that at one point was a huge part of the run, we could just look to unpatched runs. I think that's what Elden Ring did as well, right? There was big news that they patched a major glitch. I'm not too up to date. I know what like the record is 6 minutes and 59 seconds right now. But
yeah, Distortion. There's a shout out. Yeah, Distortion. Yes. Yeah. I watched it last night.
But if I'm not mistaken, he's running it like on the unpatched version, right?
Just zipping across them. It's hilarious to watch. But
Yeah,
how they discovered it, it's just one of those things where you just
I don't know. I
yeah.
really don't. And I, like, even now I'm trying to think back of like the entire Last of Us history and how we found certain things. I'm not a big glitch hunter, I'll be honest. I'm not usually the one that finds this out of bounds groundbreaking glitch. It's usually I'll give a shout out. Usually a guy named Matt. He finds so many glitches in so many games that he runs. He is a prodigy at it, absolute prodigy. And another guy named Thrillness. He found almost all the glitches in Last of Us 1 and Uncharted 1, 2, and I think 3. And then it's a community effort by some others as well. But those two, my specialty, I think, comes more like performing an encounter. I find the best way to get through there most efficiently and quickly. That's always been more my specialty. But glitch hunting, it's not that I'm not good at it. It doesn't interest me as much. But yeah, that Elden Ring stuff is still pretty crazy.
I know, it's mind blowing. And I also, just to stay with glitches for a bit longer, like obviously the one that stands out to me most is the one that was found in Resident Evil 4. Yeah, the one that just cut the game time in half, the Ditman glitch.
I actually don't know that one.
Oh,
I actually don't know that one.
It's the one with the it's the one where you've got like the super shotgun, the striker.
I never played Resident Evil 4. I've never played any Resident Evil. I don't know why. I've seen people play them, but
you might not like my channel then. So far, I'm just playing the randomizers, for the OG Resident Evil games. And
I'll play it soon.
But it's great.
I'll play it soon to get caught up on everything.
Yeah. So you said you like to just play the game naturally and just optimize your performance. So when you're okay, let's say when you first started with Last of Us, how long did you play it for before you started realizing that you could go for a world record time? How long before you realized, yeah, this is possible?
I was playing it for about a year on PlayStation 3. I didn't play it when it came out. I didn't own a PlayStation 3 ever. When I was in college, my roommate had his PlayStation 3, and that's when I played Last of Us for the first time. It was my first PlayStation 3 experience, and it was a good one. It was a very good one. I played it on his PS3.
Masterpiece, absolute masterpiece.
Yeah.
The game.
And then I would play it when I can because he hogged the TV most of the time. So
you gotta love roommates, right? You gotta love roommates.
Yeah, no, but they were good. They were good. What happened next? And then it was so good. I Christmas of 2013, like I want my own PS3 so I can play it over and over and over. I'd never played anything like it before. Yeah, this was almost 10 years ago. So that was when the PS4s came out. So I was still playing it. And then September of 2014 was my 21st birthday. Yeah, that's a big one. And it's like, I just want a PS4 with Last of Us. That's all I want. I want the remaster.
So they took a masterpiece and then they made it even better, right?
Yeah.
With the PS4 version.
Oh, PS3 is like, when you're doing an enemy encounter, the frame rate drops to like 20. I know, like, that's a big game to be on a PS3, but the frame rate, you just can't go back when you've played the remaster. You just can't. Just
buttery smooth, on the remastered.
Yeah.
Oh, so nice.
That was still the best looking PS4 game for a couple years into its like overall library.
That's why I love Naughty Dog so much. That's why they just stand out to me personally. Yeah. Is that what? Oh, sorry. Where do they rank? Where does Naughty Dog rank for you in terms of companies?
Oh, I think they're the best.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of the quality of their games, they're not. Well, I was going to say, they don't do microtransactions, but they kind of did with their factions multiplayer. But
we don't talk about that much. I don't think anyone talks about that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they don't do it with their single player experiences, and I think that's great. I think
Thank
they're
God.
probably that's
Yeah.
hopefully they probably will continue to do that. Um, yeah, they make what they want. Their sequels are usually good. You know, Last of Us is their Crash, Jack, Uncharted. That's their fourth big franchise. They have other
Yeah.
franchises, so yeah, they just have a good history with how they handle their business, I think.
Imagine if well, because what game was it? I was watching this video, this parody on YouTube, and it was like, what if Elden Ring was released by EA or Ubisoft, right? And it's just like every 5 seconds, you're walking, and then it's like you must pay $8, $8.99, $9.99 to unlock this area. Oh,
Uh-huh.
unlock the entirety of Caelid now for $100, and it's like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's just cringy, but it's
Where
hilarious, you know.
where's the lie? You know?
Right? Yeah, I'm like, yeah. People in the comments typing like, "This is accurate. This is truthful." This is
Yeah.
exactly what it's like. Um, so as you may have known in the chat we had before starting, I'm a big fan of Nolan North, and I wanted to just to talk a little bit about, was that maybe one of the best things you've ever done, I wonder, as a speedrunner, aside from the world records?
Ever.
Ever.
And nothing's gonna come along like relatively soon that tops it.
It's incredible to see, like, because you were in there in the studio with him too, right? At times, not just over Zoom. Yeah.
No, the first time it was in the height of COVID. No, but you know, we were safe and everything. Yeah, they reached out to me. I had reached out to them, but I knew I would get left on red. You know, just take a chance, see what would happen. They didn't respond, but then I found out, you know, they ended up reaching out to me on their own and was like, "Part 2's coming out. You wanna game with Nolan?" I'm like, "Yeah."
You're like, what did you just say?
Yeah, no, it was like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, spending the day with him, you know, it was so surreal that it's actually kind of a blur.
Sure.
I kind of have a hard time remembering that day, you know, because I have a pretty good memory, but that day is a bit of a blur because I couldn't believe it. It was cool that they would reach out to someone like me, because Nolan has God knows how many celebrity friends and stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
a quarter of a million, right, on Twitter. So you know, yeah. Which is
you got Mark. You got like Mark Hamill wishing him a happy birthday and stuff. You know, so they reached out to me, and the videos we made did really well, and I couldn't believe the whole thing, because you know he's been in our on our TV screens and in our headsets for decades now.
Yeah.
You try and read his acting credits on Wikipedia, you get tired halfway through.
Yeah, you have a little nap. Yeah? You need a coffee. You need a coffee to begin with, and then you have a little nap halfway through.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So how did the process for that begin? What was the process like for you choosing what you were going to show him? Because you know, when I watched the video, it's just like banger after banger after banger. It's just like, and he's just like, his jaws just dropped the entire video, you know.
I know, yeah, and he's a good actor, but he wasn't acting. he was just reacting. Yeah, that was the scary thing about the first video, and even the second and third videos, was I didn't really know what I was going to do. You know, we flew to California. My sister went with me because I was scared. You know, she helped with everything else. I just focused on what I was going to be doing. But you know, Drew, the head producer of Retro Replay,
Soup guy.
The soup guy, and the one in the cage. He we threw ideas back, and originally he just wanted me to show up and play some part 2 for him, but I was like, no, and I kind of fought for this idea a little bit. Nobody's going to know who I am. You know, there's my following who knows who I am, the YouTube views and records and stuff, but in terms of how many views it could potentially get, I felt like I needed to show off what I could do. Like, why did they pick this person to play Last of Us with Nolan? And so my idea was, because they had already completed their Last of Us 1 playthrough somewhat recently, I think a month or so ago, before they messaged me. So I was like, why don't I show off what I can do? A whole episode of playing through some part 1 sections really fast. I can show off the section that Nolan was in. And you know, if he does something bad, it'd be just make for a good moment and stuff. And so I kind of fought for that idea and ended up working really, really well. Because then when we played part 2, it added some context to why I was the guy they chose. You know,
Nice.
but
And
with regards to the sections that I did, I had no clue. I think the night before, I only found out that Last of Us 2 had an encounter select menu.
right,
So,
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Was that in there from the beginning, or was that something they put in later?
That was
Yeah.
in there from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
And it works pretty well.
And did the same thing ever maybe come up for sitting down with Troy as well to do the same kind of thing?
He had already left by then. It was a
Yeah,
shame.
it
It
was a
was
shame, yeah.
just as he was heading off
Going
to
off
do
to
his
do
own
his own,
thing.
yeah. That is a
I
shame.
know. I'd love to meet him someday, but we all want things. You know,
I just sent him a tweet actually recently. I was like, I loved your performance as Joel. Did you have a podcast? So
yeah, it's so
I'm
good.
just throwing out the fires, you know.
His Joel is so good. I miss him.
Yeah. Do you think? Because obviously, like Nolan North showed up in the Uncharted movie, you know, albeit briefly.
Yeah, he did.
Do you think we'll see Troy in a cameo in the HBO show for Last of Us?
It would make sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but then it's like, how many voice actors are you gonna have on? If they get Troy, they got to get
Ashley Johnson, right? And then
Ashley Johnson, and then they could just play background people, but then that's a lot of travel for a cameo for actors who are probably very busy. And I mean, it would be nice, you know, just as cameos, basically.
Cameos, yeah, just cameos. What did you think? Let's just stay with movies for a sec. What did you think about the Uncharted film? Did you see it?
Nolan's gonna hate me for this. I didn't see it. I'm not really a movie watcher. I don't know why.
I'm definitely going to tag Nolan in this. It's like you get name dropped a few times. No, I saw it, and like I say, it's a shame, man. And this is the problem with YouTube, right? Is that I saw the cameo on YouTube before I saw the film because it didn't come out. It didn't release here in China. Oh no, sorry, they were thinking about it. They were going to show it, and then the latest epidemic happened, and all the cinemas shut, and I was gutted. But then I saw it online. Yeah, his cameo was great. I wish they could have got a few more. I wish they could have got the guy who played Sully too. Yeah, Richard McGonagall would have been great, even just as a cameo too. Yeah. All right, nice one. So let's take it back to the past. Yeah, as the Angry Video Game Nerd would say. So, what's your earliest memories of gaming?
That would be me and a Game Boy. That'd be me and a Game Boy. Not Game Boy Color, the big boxy gray one with the bad lighting.
My brother had one of those. Yeah, because I remember he had the light, the magnifier, right, with the light that came over the top.
Big thing that wouldn't pass today. You need something more sturdy, but
you need to put that in a separate suitcase. I think if you were taking it on a plane nowadays.
Yeah. But I took that thing everywhere. I couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 years old. I took that thing everywhere and I just played it. And they had some good games for the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, I had the first one I had was the Game Boy Color, right? So they definitely improved on a lot of things with that. I remember Bomberman and Pokemon and another one, an obscure one. I remember like Jeremy McGrath Supercross 2000 or something, I think it was. And I love that game. Yeah, I love that game. It was great. One of the best motocross games I've ever played.
My favorite, I have a few. The Wario Land games, I think the first one, and then the third one specifically, I thought was really good. Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins one. And what was the other? Just the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
The one with every 4th stage would be fighting Donkey Kong at some point. That game is still really good.
Donkey Kong, yeah, on Donkey Kong Country, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, the original Donkey Kong. I'm sorry, my fault.
The original Donkey, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And this might be an unpopular opinion or a fact about my childhood, is that even though I had the Game Boy, I stayed away for whatever reason from like your typical Nintendo titles. As I said with the Game Boy Color, I had mainly the third party stuff. I never even really had Mario. I mean, my brother had Mario, but not me.
Mm.
And I didn't even play the first Legend of Zelda, which I now love. I didn't even play the first Legend of Zelda until I was in my teens. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Don't know what it was. Don't know why I just, I don't know. I guess when I was a kid, it never appealed. I was like, maybe this is too kid friendly.
Well, you're one up on me because I've never played a Zelda game before.
Not even Breath of the Wild that everyone's played. Wow.
No.
Okay.
I'm fully devoted to my Last of Us stuff. It doesn't leave me time for other things. And I always tease like, oh, it's on my to play list. And then it's like, who am I trying to kid? I'm probably never going to.
And what moment was it for you then as we move through your childhood? Excuse me. What moment through your childhood made you realize I could do this whole speedrunning thing? Who did you look at to be in the beginning? Maybe like who inspired you to kick it off, or that kind of thing.
It was so long ago I don't even remember, but it was definitely like early or mid 2014. I was in college. It wasn't like a hobby I had been doing for a long time. It was something I discovered pretty late compared to like the real veterans of speedrunning. I want to say Punkasian doing Super Mario 64. I wasn't there for the whole Siglemic takeover, but I think it was Punkasian because he's been doing it for a very long time. Mario 64, that's my favorite.
Mario 64 speedruns are like mental.
It's the best. Yeah, it's just the best. And then Cheese taking it back recently. I was doing a live marathon in Maryland, and now I actually met Cheese there for the first time. And then we chatted a little bit before I did my run, and I didn't talk too much because it was only like a 2-day thing. But then a week later, he broke the record. I was like,
wow,
you damn right you did. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
That's great, man. It's great to see the speedrunning community. I see it on Twitter occasionally, but more so on YouTube. And it's really a collective, right? It's like, when anyone gets any kind of world record, you all go crazy right, for each other.
Yeah, we do.
It's fantastic, yeah. So as far as like with Last of Us and stuff, like what's your favorite category for that game?
The hardest difficulty, which is grounded mode.
Right.
That's I can't really pick out a reason why. It just is. See, with easy mode, there are strategies that are faster than grounded. So there's skill in doing it on the easiest difficulty. But I remember one easy mode run I did. I was doing outside of the high school in Billstown, where you like have to kill everyone, you have to get alerted. I had 8 shotgun shells. I killed 8 enemies with the shotgun. They didn't drop anything. They didn't give me a drop of shotgun ammo on the easiest difficulty.
On easy?
The next run I did, they dropped about 12 bullets.
Naughty Dog, fix it. Like, you know what I mean? That's insane.
There's no routing that part of the run.
Right.
You can't route it. It's just random. You just go fast. On grounded, it's all so specific. I know in part 1 who's going to drop what and how much it's going to be. It's all right there. I'll just list off some facts I know about the ammo drops.
Sure.
Pistol, you have to have 3 or less for enemies to drop pistol ammo. Revolver and shotgun, you have to be at 2 or less for them to drop some. The rifle, I think you have to be at 0 for them to drop something. The shorty, I think, is the same. The shorty isn't used that much in the run, so it doesn't matter. Neither is the El Diablo, so it doesn't matter there. They'll never drop arrows. Drop arrows. But the pistol, revolver, and the rifle and the shotgun is important. And certain enemies will only drop certain types of ammo. So in the sewers, they'll only drop revolver and pistol. They're not going to drop rifle or shotgun. That's just stuff. There's no way to know that ahead of time. But trial and error. runs over and over. You just notice these things. But
Sure.
I love how specific it is for grounded. It's so
Mm.
limited. And when the run's over, I have nothing.
Yeah,
It all gets used. There is
nothing
a
left,
bullet
yeah.
with an enemy's name on it. That's how
Right.
strict it is.
Like Aaron Black, yeah, in Mortal Kombat when he does his
Yeah.
victory.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the way that you just so expertly reeled off, excuse me, you reeled off all that information. Is there important things that you forget, like your phone number?
I'll forget my
Stuff has
passwords
to
for
come out, yeah,
websites.
to put that stuff in. Yeah.
Yeah, like I know my social security number, I know my login for my phone, I know my debit card number, I know my routing number for my bank. I luckily my computer remembers my passwords for me on websites, but I remember enough important things.
Yeah, I think we as humans sometimes just remember the silliest of things. Like there's a phone number from my childhood home that I have no reason to know anymore, but I still remember it. It's like, go away. Let me remember something else important for now. You know?
Yep. Or even just some other things that don't affect our daily lives anymore. What's the quadratic formula? Let's see. I think it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. I think that's it. When the are we allowed to curse on this podcast?
You could say when the F if you want.
I'll tone it down. You sounded hesitant there. When the hell are we ever going to use that?
That's fine. That's fine. I could have bleeped it if it was just a one-time thing.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. I mean, pi. I mean, I can only remember pi up to 3 decimal places, but then you got people that can remember it to 100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, the human memory is so interesting. I was like, I was a good high school student. I remembered the things that I had to. I made it to Rutgers. I got into Rutgers. When I got there, I was a bad student. I just was. Information was not sticking. It just didn't. But you know, I found I had the skill of just memorizing useless knowledge.
There you go. And now
useless knowledge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I even remember, this is a weird story, but I always remember this. There was a story of a guy with like really bad autism. He took a helicopter ride over the New York City skyline. He had never seen it before. He got back. He had a big pad and a pencil. He drew the entire skyline from memory, and it was perfect with a pencil. You know, so it's like
shading and everything, yeah, like the shading,
yeah,
and then
it was perfect. And everybody's different. It's almost like we don't get to choose what we just soak in.
We don't get to choose that kind of thing. You're right. That's just, it's given to us. It's the natural stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
genetics or whatever. Or
yeah, and I was in school. I was a choir kid, and I didn't play an instrument. I always memorized the sheet music faster than everyone. I still can't read music, like, oh, G flat to C on the treble clef. I can't read music, but I learned it just by, them doing the notes. I'd sing it back, and then I remembered it. And that's kind of how it works with speedrunning too. I don't get much from just watching a run. I have to do it to memorize, but I practice it for a little while. It's there forever.
You got it. Yeah, and then you got it. Yeah. So when you were first starting out then with the speed running, is there anyone that you approached, or anyone that kind of approached you to give you advice, and what piece of advice stuck the most? What's still with you to this day, yeah, as far as advice goes?
I'm trying. I don't know if I'm not sure if I had advice from someone who like mentored me.
Yeah. Someone who took you under their wing,
Yeah, I don't really think there was one. Oh my god, maybe there's one I'm just forgetting again with my memory. But this is a pretty important thing to remember, right? This is an important thing to remember, and I just no. No, the way I like kind of grew my channel and speedrunning was just continuing to grind at it.
Okay.
It really just came from my own self-confidence that, people were telling me, that I love your content and stuff, and viewership was growing slowly but steadily, but my family didn't really believe in it because, I dropped out of college, like I said
Right, right.
earlier, and there were all these voices telling me no. So it was actually kind of the opposite. I was more inspired to prove people wrong, actually,
Mm.
about the whole thing. And
And then you made it. You did it. And look at you now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So before you start like a long session on Twitch or whatever it may be, whichever platform, yeah, do you have like a 5 minutes to go before you go live? Do you have like a little ritual? Do you have something you go through, like like with sports players, athletes and stuff, they have rituals? Do
Yeah.
you have something similar?
I'll warm up with areas like after I've gone live, but before I have like a 12 or 13 minute countdown timer that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that time to, well, go to the bathroom, wipe my face down, just like mentally get ready. Like I watch a little TV, but it's mindless. I can't put on a show like House or something where I would like need to be watching to know what's going on. It's mindless reality crap. Like I don't know.
Crap's okay. Crap's okay. I don't mind that. That's not laziness.
My latest is like Kitchen Nightmares or Bar Rescue. Something mindless.
Kitchen Nightmares is great. Oh, Hotel Hell. You ever seen Hotel Hell? Gordon Ramsay.
I've seen it a little bit. Yeah.
It's great. Did you see him? Did you see Gordon Ramsay on Hot Ones? Sorry. Did you see him on Hot Ones?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. The first
episode.
time.
Great episode. 100 million. Yeah. It reached over 100 million now. Insane. Insane.
Yeah. I think people just enjoy just how good he is at what he does.
Just how ruthless, his ruthless aggression.
Yeah, but it comes from wanting the best out of people. I think that was his upbringing as well. So
yeah, it comes from a place of love, right?
Yeah.
All that seemingly hate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sadistic love, pretty much.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, go on. Oh, sorry.
The pre-stream stuff, I wipe my hands down with some Purell. I have a fan on because sometimes my hands get sweaty. I spend like 6 minutes of that 12 or 13 minute countdown. Just, I look down, make sure I'm wearing clothes. I look down. I make sure I'm wearing clothes. That could be embarrassing. Yeah. Just the basics, make sure I have water. I've been having tea like while I'm warming up because it's very bloating and it'll keep me awake longer. And yeah, I don't really eat anything during like a 6-hour stream. I have all my calories before I go live. And yeah, just pretty normal stuff.
Yeah. Nice. And so just one more question there. You said like, during a 6-hour stream, you don't really eat much. So what would you say is like, if you ever had one of these moments where you're like, oh, just one more run, and then when you looked at your watch or your PC, what time was it, right, in the morning? If you just like one more run, and then it's like, oh god, it's daylight.
Well, with the length of Last of Us runs, I'm pretty set in my ways of one run and done.
Okay.
Last of Us is about a 3-hour run. I usually warm up. I'll do the run, but there's something mentally draining about doing a Last of Us run. I think other runners who run it as well will say the same thing. I used to do more than one run when I was just starting out. But now I think longevity. I don't want to burn myself out in one day and then the next day just be like, same thing. All right. If I do one run,
here we go again.
Yeah, I look forward to it the next day. I really do. I remember one week, it was shortly after I got partnered. I got put on the Twitch partner spotlight. I don't know if they do that anymore, but they're for smaller partners. And they gave me a 2-hour slot every day for a week. and I had like 6,000 viewers during those 2 hours. So I'm like, all right, every day this week, you're going to do 2 runs. Every day, you're going to do 2 runs because this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I did. I was sick of it by the 3rd day. And I think a part of me still hasn't recovered. That was 4 years ago.
That's an honest man. You're an honest man for saying that. I think like halfway through, you're just like, nope.
I still did it.
You still carried on, but you were just done with it. Yeah.
I still did it, but
mentally,
I was, oh my God. So yeah, I think longevity, because right now I'm running part 2 full game runs. Those are 5.5 hours. And I got to tell you, I'm still doing them consecutive days, but they're tough. It's a lot tougher because I've been brought up. I've trained to work in 3-hour increments.
Mm-hmm.
Even like part 2, we have categories for if you just want to do Ellie's portion or Abby's portion.
Right.
And because they're about 2.5 hours each, it's a good speed run length.
Yeah.
I've done those a lot, and because that's more what I'm used to. Anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours. That's I'm my attention span is good in that, but asking myself to double it, it's a rough transition. I got to be honest. Like, there are people who do much longer speed runs, Grand Theft Auto 100%, Final Fantasy games.
Mate, some of those. Sorry, yeah, just interject there. Like, some of those I've seen, like, they're like 8-9 hours, right? Maybe longer, and then they lose on the final mission and they blow it.
Or even I see Linkus doing Breath of the Wild runs 100%. Those take like 40 hours.
Yeah,
I think he's allowed to do them in like not all in a row, but
yeah, because he'd be dead.
yeah. But yeah, it feels weird saying, "Oh, I only have to do 5.5." Well, they're doing that, but honestly, it's what we're used to. I'm sure they've tricked their brain into thinking like this is normal for me. Yeah. If you have someone who's used to an hour speed run and they have to do a 3-hour speed run, it's probably going to feel different for them too.
Yeah, nice one, man. And just one more thing before I get to this little game I want to play here. Yeah, so GDQ, GDQ. What are your fondest memories of joining that event? Have you been there before? Have you run games there before? I think you have, yeah.
I have. I've more been in their online marathons.
Okay.
January, this one was still a little annoying. They did accept me to run in person, but they accepted the Left Behind DLC. I flew all the way to Florida. I live in New Jersey. I flew all the way to Florida to run a 5.5-minute speed run of the campaign's DLC.
Right, so that was in person. Right?
That one was in person. That's still the only GDQ in-person thing I've ever done.
Oh my God.
And I had submitted part 1 for 5 years. They never said yes. But when the marathon switched it online, then I got in.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm just a little salty about that. But I'm grateful for the opportunity. That's why I went there to run anything. But it was cool. The one in-person thing I did was ESA. I flew to Sweden to run. It just basically,
European speedrunners, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically the European equivalent of GDQ.
Yeah.
Not as big, but it's probably the second biggest speedrunning marathon out there today.
Was that also for Left? Oh no, you did it for New Game Grounded, yeah. New Game Grounded Glitchless.
Yep.
I remember watching that. I think, yeah.
Yeah, my commentator is a longtime viewer, big supporter. It was nice meeting him, and we worked well together. He's been my commentator for every run I've ever done.
You got the pretty decent turnout from what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
pretty decent.
So yeah, I have a fonder memory of that one than I do GDQ, because when you're doing an online marathon.
You're
just sitting here. You could be doing any marathon.
Something's missing. Yeah, like I love watching those ones in person. They're great, especially when you got a full crowd behind them.
Yeah, the next GDQ is going to be in person for the first time since the one I went to. So
will you be making an appearance? I was going to talk about the future in a minute, but are you?
No, I'm going to give. I might do the one after. Well, you're not guaranteed to get in. That's the other thing.
Right. Okay. I was gonna say, yeah. What's the? I don't know really all the specifics for GDQ, but like, how long typically do people wait to get like a run verified or confirmed? You know.
You know, it's funny. I don't think it couldn't be more different every time. There's some people who could get in right away. There are other people who they wait a good amount of years. There's some people who've been in there for like 10 different marathons. They've had like 22, I think. There are people who have been in half of them. And there's someone like me. I still haven't ran the campaign on the physical stage. I still
Right.
haven't done it. But yeah, they go out of their way to accept new people every marathon. Especially when they do like their bad games block. They'll have a whole like
Right. That's
night
great. I love that stuff.
devoted to just the worst games, weirdest games ever, and it's just a really good time. But what else about that? Yeah, I'll probably submit for January 2023.
Okay.
I have to see where it is too, because this next one's in Minnesota. Money's a little tight right now. So
Sure, I can imagine, man. You know, the country, right? The US still kind of recovering from the, we won't talk about that too much, but yeah, yeah. So, but man, I hope you do manage to get out and hopefully see you on stage, yeah, live.
Yeah.
Well, not me personally. I'm stuck in China. Can't even leave. Borders are closed. Okay, we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this thing I found here, I found it just before we started, and what I like to do at the moment with all of my different podcasts, I've got a few different ones, and it's like a word association type thing. So for this one, not really a word association, it's like a speedrun association. So I'll give you the name of a game and the person who ran the game, the speedrunner, and if you can just give us your one word or one sentence, I'm usually quite lenient. If you can give us your one word, one sentence opinion, yeah. Or it may be nothing if you've not even seen the run, yeah? Okay, sound good? All right, okay. So the first one on this list is Dark Souls, all bosses in 1 hour by Catalyst. 1
Catalyst.
hour, 1 hour, 4 minutes. Yeah.
He actually got his start speedrunning Last of Us, if you can believe it. He
really?
ran the any percent category. Yes, he did when he first got going. Then he switched to Dark Souls. It's been good for him ever since.
All bosses, yeah. 1 hour, 4 minutes.
I've never played a Dark Souls game, but an hour and 4 minutes for all the bosses. It
sounds mental. Right?
Yeah, it does, because that is the franchise of trying and dying. So
it took me go on. Sorry, go on.
To know all of their moves, that's crazy, because I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, there's probably first playthroughs. There's probably an hour spent on the first boss, right?
I was gonna say it took me like an hour just to get out of the tutorial area in Elden Ring, you know.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. So next one, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time in 8 minutes by Zudu. Have you heard about this one?
8 minutes.
8 minutes.
I've never played a Zelda game. What I do remember, sorry to go a little off topic, I did follow the speed run of completing Ocarina of Time on the Smash Bros. Brawl demo thing. Smash Bros. Brawl had
Ocarina of Time demo.
Yeah, it had like a 5-minute demo, and speedrunners worked really hard to get to the credits before the demo ended, and they actually accomplished it.
Wow.
Yeah,
so it had the full game, but you could just only play it for 5 minutes.
It had a preloaded file, I think, that was in there, but there's a video. I forget who made the video, but there's a video about it, and the quest to beat, the Ocarina of Time demo in Smash Bros.
Before the credits roll, before the timer runs out, that's insane.
Yeah. As for 8 minutes in Ocarina of Time, it's undeniably like the greatest speedrun game.
It sounds like it on paper, right? I've not even watched it myself, but it just sounds like, oh my god,
it is, and it's also one of the greatest games of all time. That's almost undeniable, especially for its impact so early on in 3D gaming. So yeah, 8 minutes, especially considering how long the game probably is. It's like another current Elden Ring thing going
Right.
on.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Pokemon Red, an hour and 45 minutes by. Let's give me a second here. Sorry. Where's it called? Where is it? Oh, wait. Huh? Oh, it doesn't even say his name. Sorry, 1 second. Pokemon Red in an hour and 45 minutes from Poke Guy. That's it. Sorry, Poke Guy. My fault.
Poke Guy. I never, the only Pokemon games I've ever played were Pokemon Snap and Stadium on the N64. I never played the Game Boy ones, or I'm still up to date on them. I stopped watching the TV show when I was 9. An hour and 45 minutes for Pokemon Red.
Pokemon Red. It does sound pretty good.
Yeah. What category is that for?
It's any percent glitchless.
Any percent? Yeah, okay. Because I know, like, I'm pretty sure like
glitch runs,
like a full speed run of that, I think, is in the 3-hour range.
Mm-hmm.
An hour 45. That sounds good.
Definitely.
Okay. If I had to guess, I would say the tactic is to, and this is, I think, the case for a lot of games. You pick like one Pokemon to like level up and max out like crazy, and then you just steamroll over everybody. I think that's the way to go with it.
Right. So the next one, a game that I love to watch people rage over for sure. That Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, and 1 minute 13 seconds. Someone managed to finish it.
That's funny.
Blast Bolt. Sorry.
Blast Bolt.
1 minute.
One thing I remember when it like first came out, I would be watching some streamers. They'd be finished with their speed runs or something. It's like, all right, let's switch over to Getting Over It. Like they devote half their stream to it, like trying to beat it. Because you lose progress, you don't lose just a little bit. You go back like five areas, all of it. Yeah. So what was a minute 40? Was it
a minute 13? Sorry, 1 minute 13.
Minute 13. My God. Minute 13.
That's how long it takes me to wake up sometimes.
Yeah. From the moment my eyes open to the moment my feet hit the floor, I need all those minutes. Yeah. Wow.
Crazy, man. And
that is good. Now, what can be fun about that? And I experienced this in the Left Behind DLC for Last of Us. The any percent for the DLC is the record's 5 minutes and 7 seconds. That's a 2-hour game normally if you're just playing casually, but there's a glitch right at the beginning. The shorter a speed run, the more you're willing to put up with whatever the game throws at you, because it doesn't take that long to get back there. You know, with a run that short, you memorize things that work and don't work. You remember like what you lost a run to. Okay, I'll never do that again. It's more likely you can put up a perfect run the shorter it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine with Getting Over It, it just, my God, can you imagine how many attempts you could do in like a 6-hour stream?
I know. Yeah. Just PB after PB after PB. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Next one. This is interesting because you've already told me you haven't played any of these games. But no. I wonder if you remember this one, if you've heard about it. So somebody finished Resident Evil 2 Remake, the Leon side, in Leon A side, I believe it was. And someone finished it in 52 minutes. His name was 7 Ray D. Finished it in 52 minutes.
7 Ray D. Yeah, I was that. I don't know if it's still like an extremely popular speedrun, but I remember when it came out, that was the biggest speedrun in the world, like after it released.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, is that for the any percent category for that one character?
I think it was, let's just double check. I think it was, I believe it may have been any percent. Doesn't say. It doesn't say though. But yeah.
Not every game has like.
I guess I should have done a bit more prep. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Not every game has like an any percent glitchless separation if there's like no game breaking stuff.
I mean, I'm just kind of watching though. His fingers are already on the keyboard. Like, go ahead.
Yeah, that's the one thing I love with speedruns is when they show the hand cam. I do that occasionally,
right? All the controller as well.
I I have a couple speed runs where I did that a while back. The tutorials I made recently, I made sure to have a camera on my hands the whole time. But Resident Evil 2, again, I'm not quite sure how the run goes, or even like the original game, the remake, but 52 minutes, that's a good length for a speed run, I gotta say.
Mental. I mean, my first run of Resident Evil 2 remake, not even speed run, it just took like 9 hours, you know. So
really?
Yeah.
I did.
Oh yeah, if you're trying to explore everything, then yeah. I was taking my time, you know. I wasn't trying to rush through. But,
yeah. There's a website like how long to beat, and it shows like how long a game takes to usually beat, or for completionists how long it takes to beat, like 100% stuff. So let's say your playthrough is about 9 hours. For it to get down to like 53 minutes, that's good. That's good. That's like
really good, yeah.
Oh, percentage wise, what would that be? That's like in
okay, an hour.
That's less than 10%.
Yeah. That's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
So you were talking, you mentioned you gave a shout out to this guy earlier. So for this one, Super Mario 64 in 1 hour 38 minutes, all 120
seconds.
And yes, and 50 seconds, you're right.
Yeah.
By cheese,
I was watching it.
All 120 stars.
It is, every time that specific category is broken, it's a moment to just stop and recognize.
Right.
That is an extremely demanding speed run, and just how much that has to go right and how easily it can go wrong. It is one of the ultimate gaming achievements whenever that time is lowered.
All right, nice. So that's a good answer. I like that.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah. Speaking from the heart once again, I like it. All right, and the last one. Hey, this is crazy. You're not on here. You're not on here. That's how dare I'm gonna write into Games Radar and be like, hey, AnthonyCaliber's not on here. All right, last one. Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, in wait for it, less than half an hour somehow. 27 minutes 29 seconds.
Well, they made that game without really an order,
right? Because you can just go straight to Ganon, can't you?
Yeah, you can. I don't.
Skeeto Dara 01417 is his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, for a game that 100% takes about 30, I don't know the time now. It's over 30 hours. It has to be.
Yeah.
To do it in 20, excuse me, was it 27 minutes?
27 minutes, 29 seconds and 29 seconds. Yeah, 27 minutes, 29 seconds.
I can tell you that runner is very happy with getting below the 30-second mark. We love like getting below round numbers like that. Yeah, that's crazy. That's probably a really fun category to run. You know, with just like the preparation, a run that's short, you know what needs to be done. There probably isn't that much randomness with like weapons or skills or something. It's probably it's routed pretty well. I imagine there's a lot of RNG when you get towards the final boss and stuff, but yeah, that anyone who's played it has spent God knows how many hours with it. So under 27 or 27 and a half minutes, that I'm sure someone who's played it and tried to get to 100% is probably just like when they first hear about that.
I don't think I even got to 100%. There were still things that I missed, you know, even when I was trying to go for like all the shrines, and some of them were just ridiculous. Just some of the puzzles, you know. I'm like, it's like I have to look this up on my phone. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just
what
crazy.
I like, I sort of remember this, is people were using bombs to kind of like cheat the puzzles. They would literally be blown to where you had to end up, and that it wasn't the way they intended it. But maybe they knew that it was possible the whole time. Maybe they knew.
Just some
the whole mystery of that
physics,
game.
Some crazy physics in play on that game. All right, cool. So that's the end of the list. That's awesome. So I want to just ask you a question. If you do new speedrunners like approach you on Twitter as well, asking for advice?
Not on Twitter. Sometimes in Discord DMs.
Okay.
The occasional, like, do you have any advice for up and coming speedrunners? And it's weird. I don't usually have like an answer to give, because the advice really is, do an attempt. It's going to suck a lot, but just do an attempt. That's how you get your initial set of times. And then, like subliminally, like watch the record and try and soak in some information. You don't have to do it just like that, but just, keep it in the back of your mind. And then when you try again, you join the community speedrunning Discord. It usually is. And yeah, you go from there. You ask any questions you have. We have a Last of Us speedrunning Discord that's pretty active. There's a lot of people in there, and people are asking questions. We're sharing strategies. There was a new 9-second discovery in part 2 yesterday that involved kind of tricking the game into hitting a checkpoint earlier than you normally can.
I love that. That's so cool.
Yeah,
to find stuff. And like you said, again, it comes full circle, because like you said, there's nothing that speedrunners can't find, right?
No, there isn't. But yeah, as for advice for people just getting started, I'd say the one I share most often is manage your expectations.
Okay.
Odds are, if it's a pretty decent sized community, you're not going to get like a top 3 time right away. Mm-hmm. Odds are, at some point, the current record holders for any game were new to the community, Mm-hmm. So, never say never, but manage your expectations when you first get started. When I started, my best time in part 1 was 3 hours and 33 minutes. Now it's down to 2.
Which sounds to me, that sounds incredible.
It's down to 2 hours and 48 minutes. And that took 7 years.
7 years.
To lower. Yep.
That's amazing. It's just, to me, just the whole concept of speedrunning is just fantastic. And I want to thank you for joining me on the show today to speak all about it.
Yeah, no problem. This was fun.
Fun. So as we just sit in the moment and we're just talking about speedrunning now, and we're reminiscing about the past, and as we look to the future too, what would you say, Anthony? The last question. What would you say you're most grateful for right now in your speedrunning career?
I'm most grateful that there's a large group of people out there that appreciate the work that I do. Like, I don't want to make this all about myself. There's a lot of other Last of Us runners that are doing some amazing things and have records in other categories and stuff. But if I'm just talking personally, I love the fact that there's still people supporting me every day, and there's new people finding me every day, and that they don't get they tell me, it's like, usually when a speed run gets popular, it gets old after a couple months, but I could watch your runs over and over for as long as you continue to do them, and it really does mean the world to me, especially because I'm full time. The money I make at the end of the year is just from Twitch and YouTube. So to actually be able to do this for a living, there are no words you can say for how grateful I am for that.
Nice. Fantastic. There you go. Then that's the perfect response. So last thing I've got to say, thank you so much for your time. Thanks so much for joining. The floor is now yours. So let the followers, let the listeners know, the watchers too, because it's going to be video. Let everyone know what you have going on right now and where we can follow you, find you on social media. Thank you.
Okay. My socials, it's AnthonyCaliber pretty much everywhere. On Twitter, I have a Discord called the Ant Colony. I have links to everything in like one of my YouTube videos. Yeah. And yeah, currently I'm in a grind of part 2. I don't typically go back and forth between part 2 and part 1 because I've noticed I work my best when I'm devoted to one thing and one thing only, and I don't move on until I've accomplished what I want to. And I just work my best when it's one thing. So right now I'm working on part 2. There's a lot of categories for part 2. I'm not interested in getting them all, but I have all the records for part 1 and the DLC. But for part 2, I'm just interested in the grounded ones because that's always been my favorite. Like we talked about earlier. And I'm currently doing a full game runs on grounded, and I'm trying to get below 4 hours and 20 minutes in-game time.
Okay.
I'm currently at 4 hours, 23 minutes, and 4 seconds. So it could be any day.
So stay tuned, everybody, because that could happen.
Yeah, could. I'm making great progress. I've only been back at the game for about a month and a half now. The progress has been crazy. It's like because I put it away for about a year, and it just feels like I've never left. But yeah, there's not a lot of variety in my channel. I have a YouTube where I upload the records, and I do like a monthly clips compilation of the best moments of the month. I even have made a second YouTube devoted to clips. I upload 1 clip per day of something that happened recently or a long time ago. It's more like a personal project thing. I'm just having fun with it. And yeah, if you go to any one of my YouTube videos, the description all says the same thing of where to like find me and stuff.
Fantastic. And we'll be sure to also link the Discord for the Last of Us speedrunning community too, yeah, for anybody who's interested in getting into it. And just a final note, actually, one of the videos I saw of yours that was the funniest and kind of brought me around to your way of thinking about everything was one of your rage compilations.
I made, yes. A few years ago.
I'll be honest, I watched those more than I should, but they are very funny.
Yeah, I made a compilation of all the rages that I had. Yeah, getting this business off the ground, I wasn't a very happy person early on, but as I've become like a lot more grateful for what I have, I'm in a much better place now. And I used to do this at home in my mom's basement. Now I can afford my own place and everything. Nice. But yeah, that video, I even made a second one.
Yeah, you made 2.
Yeah. And the second one wasn't as good. I had to really search hard for some footage, but the first one, yeah, looking at it now, I don't know what was wrong with me. Yeah, it's like
that's the evolution, right? That's what makes life living, I guess,
Yeah, and when I end a run, people are always just like, throw your controller. I'm like, what?
Yeah, why would you say that?
Yeah.
I like
and then
this
I remember,
controller.
I think people know me for that video more than I think. So they show up expecting me to be this like insane human being when I'm pretty calm, usually pretty focused on the run. I mean, it's not like I'm happy when a run dies to something, but I've learned to just accept it and move on. Plus, my equipment's a little more expensive than it used to be now. So I can't.
Right, yeah, you can't afford to be like throwing around monitors and stuff nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, that video is like an hour and a half long.
You know what? I'm gonna go watch it again. I'll tell you what, I'll link it in the description too. How's that?
It's some good stuff. I made sure to put it in order too.
Oh, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, nice one. All right, good stuff, man. Well, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with all your runs for the rest of the year and beyond. I look forward to seeing you at GDQ and ESA and all of them in person again.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I want to just say a big thank you there to AnthonyCaliber for joining the show. And more importantly, I want to thank all of you for listening and watching today, because this is the first time I've done a podcast where we're going to have both, because the Zoom quality today was buttery smooth. So we're going to have the video and the audio. Once again, thank you all very much for listening. As I said in the beginning, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And I can't wait to see and speak and hear from you all again. Thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.